to read when you've got tired eyes. Months go by, the time it flies, past the days that we drank Kool-Aid in the summertime. Years go by, the time it flies, past the days that we drank Kool-Aid in the summertime.
See through you. Welcome to the NACE Star League studio, and you're joining us this Monday for Valorant. Yes, Valorant. If you tuned in expecting Rocket League as we normally have on Valorant on Mondays, don't fret, we'll have it on Wednesday. But for now, I'm your host, Jacob Palmer, joined by Artemis Main. We are here very serious in all black because the stakes could not be higher today. It is LCQ time for the Valorant season. And we have a whole bunch of teams ready to try to get that last ticket into the finals. Now, Artie, the main thing that we've been saying throughout all the season is top two teams go on to playoffs. And that's technically true, but it wasn't the whole story. Can you enlighten us on how things work for the LCQs?
So, while the top two teams are guaranteed the ticket into playoffs, number one seed, yes, you are going to playoffs. However, number two, basically, you gotta prove that you are actually the number two seed in your division by taking down the number three seed, and if number three ends up beating you, well, they punch their ticket into the playoffs instead, so it's an all-out brawl and a fight to the finish.
Across the 9 divisions of NACE Star League, we have 18 teams all facing off in a round robin this week, and the 9 winners get to go on to the grand finals. We have our first match of the day, will be Mary Washington versus Wichita State.
And then we're going to have Highland Community College taking on Cumberland.
All of these teams are facing off against completely new opponents because from LCQ onward, we are no longer competing in divisions. It is all nationwide. And let's take a look at the two teams that we have for our first match. We're going to Wichita State, Thiessen, Truman, Cam, Suey, and Skeebs.
And for Mary Washington, we have Death, Nebula, Zipper, Saturn, and Diamond. Death, that is a very ominous sounding name. You've been eliminated by Death. Very fitting.
It is for the type of event we have because elimination is indeed final today. All of the teams that finish 4th place or lower in their division are out of the running entirely. We have 9 teams that already get the luxury of a bye week, can just look on and scope out the possible competition. Speaking of looking on, let's take a look at the lineup that we have for our first best of 3 match. Looks like we're going to be starting out on Ascent, then moving on to Breeze, and finishing up with Haven.
I'm excited to be for our first map to be Ascent. This is one of the oldest maps that we have here for Valorant, so with that in mind, it is going to mean that it's the opportunity for every player to demonstrate what they've been learning all of this time for the first map.
And in terms of who is going to be attacking first, Mary Washington has the first, whereas State University will be attacking on Breeze. They're going to be attacking to the decider. Overall, we have mainly seen throughout most of the time today, not too many changes. Not too many changes in terms of what these teams prefer. Ascent, Breeze, and Haven. We've seen many a times. It's been a pretty standard loadout of maps. No real off picks being brought out.
Definitely. However, I do hope that we have the possibility of going all 3 maps and going to Haven. The 3-point maps tend to be some teams' ace in the hole when it comes to victory. So if their intent is to go 1-1 and then move on to Haven, theoretically that could be what ends up being a deal breaker for our more favored team of Wichita State.
And we now get to take a look at the load-ups and the agents that each team is going to choose. And normally for Ascent, we normally just see standard mirror matchups. Everything is pretty locked in stone. You're guaranteed to see KJ on Sentinel. Sova also pretty much a must-pick, so I'm not going to think we're going to see any. I don't think we're being baited here at all. I think these are probably the final lock-ins.
Yeah, the Sova, as you mentioned, almost 100% always going to be on Ascent. KJ as well. Sometimes we'll see a Viper, but with the current state of the game, do see a lot more double smokes happening. So we're going to have Omen and Jet locking in most likely for both teams, and we'll have the identical mirror matchup again. There is some variation we'll see sometimes, but it looks like these teams have decided to commit to what they know works best. Excited to see how this all works out with only... We're waiting on one team to fully finish up, and we're waiting on Zipper to finally lock in that Jet. So we're taking down the last 10 seconds before we're fully locked in.
Now, Wichita State, definitely a team that gave us a show last week, took on Fisher, was completely considered the underdog in that match and won 2-0. And all of those rounds were extremely close. The first one went to overtime. So overall, very exciting to see Wichita State again. They finished in second place for their overall season. And now they'll be going to try to get that second ticket. Fisher also making their way to the LCQs. It's going to be fighting off against Mizzou to see who makes it forward.
We'll have to see who ends up victorious in game one. This is a best of three, but technically speaking, it's first to two in the series. So whomever wins first map puts themselves at series point. And with how long these matches last, it's always a good thing to come out on top in the first one.
We can also take a look, just mentioning the teams that aren't competing today because they have already qualified. The top teams in each division, if you're curious, St. Clair in East 1, East 2 Rochester, East 3 Florida International, East 4 Converse, East 5 Harrisburg, East 6 West Virginia, East 7 Purdue, West Central 1 Boise State, and West Central 2 Maryville. So, some names that we pretty much expected to see already in the playoffs, Boise State, St. Clair, and Maryville. But who is going to be joining them? We are going to be determining that right now. First round is underway, and Mary Washington already making their way toward the site. There are two left, though, from Wichita State and Boathouse, and one of them just takes out Death to start things out, and they're still going to put pressure on. One goes through the smoke and immediately pays for it. Wichita State ending that one in quick order.
Walking through smokes is always, especially when they're not your own, a bold statement to be making, but doing it solo into the back of that site, risky situation to walk into. Obviously, mistakes were made. That was the final elimination as well. We're getting ready to hop into round two. Should be Wichita State with a slight advantage. Looks like they're going to be going for... We have one purchase of a Bulldog guaranteed on KJ. Couldn't see the rest of the team's loadout where the rest of, or everyone else is stuck on pistols, but the Marshall coming out.
Oh my goodness!
Holy cow! That's a triple kill.
A quad kill at that, going for the final one, gets a body shot, swaps over to the Sheriff, and there's an ace for your Jet second round like it's nothing.
Ooh, that was fast.
Now, again, this was the team that took down Fisher. Okay, so Wichita State, certainly a very formidable team to go up against.
Take a quick look at this replay. 1, 2, 3. Gets the fourth, switches over to the pistol after taking this initial shot. Oh man, ace on second round. That's got to be a little intimidating.
And it's usually at that point where, you know, you might want to think about smoking off an area like that, because I don't think he can give this Jet any free reign, who's already positioned way up close on ace short, is going to meet this Omen right around the corner. That Omen, the spike carrier, gets taken out. There's one left, the Sova trying to hide a sneaky angle, but he's eliminated by Cams, and Wichita State not letting up for a moment in their winning streak.
Got to keep in mind, Wichita State is bonusing right now. We saw Jet manage to pick up a gun because there's 2 kills there. Most likely, Omen or Sova also managed to pick up a fully automatic weapon. Got Diamond kind of pinned down. 2 are about to swing onto Truman, but 1 swung first, the Jet second. Truman does eventually get eliminated. Diamond will also find Thiessen.
Not out of the realm of possibility that this one is still one for Mary Washington, although that is a tough task indeed. Now that Cams has gotten his triple, one-way smoke is going to be placed right next to the spike. He can just look for the Tootsies walking up to there and then shoot away. This is so tricky for Diamond. He just has no time left to play with. Is forced to wait out this smoke.
Perhaps it was communicated that Cams is extremely low on health. Cams even had to back off. Spike has been grabbed. Will Diamond have the proper crosshair placement and swing this angle? You saw where that smoke came from. You should know he's to your right. Do you see the Omen? He is right.
And this is why I'm glad you're here for these Valorant matches, Artie, because so much throughout this season, There have been times in a lot of matches that I've casted where I've wished you were here so you could give your main broken record advice. That always rings true.
Check your angles, please. You knew where the smoke came from.
Well, it can be a slog through LCQ, and even more of a slog now that Truman has brought out a full Odin to the party. And he isn't even positioning on B. He's got a long sight line on mid with that thing. He's going to back up, though. Kasui, more than capable. Now the team goes charging, and he can just fire right through the smoke. Look at that tracking right now. Situational awareness. Throws out a shock dart. Huge damage placed onto Saturn. And that is another clean win for Wichita State.
Okay, we're used to the Sova with the Odin pick, but Truman, where you decided to initially start, was a little unexpected for us, backing off towards tree after using your sonar. Nicely done. A little bit ridiculous. Happy it worked out. I love to see a good Odin play.
I was hoping we'd see a good Odin play, but I'm still at a loss that we saw it on this side of the stage. It is so odd to see it being brought out on A instead of B, but sure worked out for Wichita State. Now, Wichita State moving on to round 5. Huge amount of credits, and they're going to put them to good use, giving Sui the op. And if you were here last week, Sui is dangerous with the op. If you do not smoke him off, he is going to just tear right through your team.
Seems like Mary Washington anticipated the op play and thought Sui would be in mid. Got 2 rotating forward. They take care of the alarm bot. Well, the alarm bot. We have a trade cams for Diamond.
One enemy remaining.
Ooh, Thiessen with 2, Skeebs with 1. Saturn is alone, encroaching onto B site, but with Spike and getting pressured from everyone's in the front. However, this makes it very hard to swing back and run away. He's gonna smoke out forward and attempt to walk.
Dancing around because, I mean, they know all they need to do is bait so Truman can get the sight line and then just let the Odin rip. 5-0. Mary Washington in the regular season finished with a record of 4-3 in East 7, whereas Wichita State finished with a 5-1 record in East 2. So definitely the top team that you would expect to win, and they are certainly not deviating from those expectations one big. Next round on deck.
Mary Washington seems like they can't decide whether or not they want to force this round. We have one person choosing to buy a full, trying to full buy, doesn't end up getting any shields. Most likely gonna have to buddy up and go with someone who purchased a heavy weapon.
Here.
It is pretty locked down, although Sui, once the smoke dropped zipper, might be able to get a sideline. You also see their Omen position way up close behind the smoke. A risky smoke to go out, but he just goes through and is able to pick out Nebula, but it is a risky play. It's a 1-to-1 trade. Zipper now smoked off in mid. Few shots through the smoke. Should give Wichita State all the information they need on where Mary Washington wants to push. And oh, if they don't check this KO, this is going to be brutal. A 1 and a 2. Both of them swing out for a double peak. Wichita State looking like they're going to go up to 6-0 unless Death can do anything about it. He's throwing out some shock darts, but sees 2 versus 1 and immediately starts retreating. He's just going to try to settle for the ultimate orb. He picks it up before the other 2 hunt him down and it make the lead even larger.
Not to mention he only had a stinger. That's a harsh situation to be in. We actually will take a quick replay. What occurred on Catwalk, and then yes, this is where tragedy began to strike. Peeks forward, sees 1, sees 2, says no. I'm at least going to get the ultimate.
The best thing, I'm going to get my ultimate orb, and I'm happy with that, because in this situation, there's not much I can do with this Stinger. Okay, it is another full buy now for Mary Washington. We are halfway through the first. Sui picks someone up in mid and immediately dashes off. Oh, but is just going to have to settle for 1.
Well, they took care of the op. However, I do believe the rest of Wichita State still has enough money to rebuy that op next round. Didn't check the angle. Diamond takes down Skeebs. I hope we see that in a replay. That was intriguing. Nebula waiting out the smoke, trying to see if anyone's bold enough to walk through it. No one does. It expels. Now we're going to clear through tree. Pop flash from Nebula. Doesn't pick anybody up, but there is someone inside tree. They know they're there, so we have cloud smoke used. Another pop flash coming out from Thiessen. Thiessen goes down to Nebula.
Player standing.
It's just Nebula left alive. No, sorry, it's just Truman alive. First time we've seen this for Wichita being down so many players. It's the Odin versus the firing squad of 4 people.
Of course, if it is taken, if they take it in one-on-ones, then this can even up very quick. It's going to throw out the dart, immediately picks out one. Wall bangs to see if there's someone else there. There isn't. And Diamond swings around from the arch to take care of him. First round 1 for Mary Washington. This is the part of Valorant that can always be deceiving, because there's still a chance we end the first half tied if things continue to go Mary Washington's way. And so sometimes you can come out with a 6-round winning streak and then you end the first half and it's like, we're tied? I thought we were rolling.
As I mentioned, despite Sui's unfortunate demise, still plenty of credits on that team to rebuy the operator, and everyone still has full shields. The only person that doesn't now in the lobby is Diamond. 2 times in a row, just choosing to go with half shields. They swing through. They're dropping down lockdown. Hopefully they remember the back right of sight is still the place that someone can hide.
But it's more of a bait lockdown. They're rotating over toward A. They got to take out this Omen. KO now rotating up toward Heaven. Cams gets shot through the smoke. He's eliminated. Mary Washington up 5-4. We're just going to run it back, the play on A, because it worked out so well for him last time. You know, they're so bunched up in Heaven. Oh, Zipper! And the wall bang through. This is such good play.
They heard the Blade Storm instantaneously hit null command, so Blade Storm went away. That's the haha no ult button for you. Now Jet is dangerously low, gets Blade Storm back, is able to rotate out, but is choosing, I believe, to just stay alive. I think that is the play. Truman's gonna go down in a firefight, but there is not enough time. Zipper's just looking to play their life and get out alive.
Wants to keep hold of that op and is gonna go back to mid, maybe for one exit frag should someone go through that. Doesn't look like Mary Washington's gonna take the bait, however. They'll be happy with their win and move on. Yeah, I thought this was just so risky, them all moving through the same route. Just all lined up, and Zipper, it isn't quite a collateral, but it's darn close to one. All right, now we are on to round 9, and I mean, it shows how many credits they have. They're able to just purchase everything again, but that trend can't continue in perpetuity.
I think after this one, they're broke. They need to win this, or the reverse. Sui, as I'm talking about the fact that if they don't become victorious this round, their team's going to go broke, finds one. But Nebula returns the favor, taking out the enemy KO. We're now 4-4 on both sides. Omens both have ultimates, and it looks like Mary Washington, Omen will pop ult. Blade Storm, as well as Hunter's Fury, still online. But Truman's going to quickly take out Zipper. No Blade Storm this round. Cams goes down. Truman finds death, so no Hunter's Fury either. It is just Omen left standing.
Skeebs takes him out. Very unfortunate, too, for Mary Washington. That was Truman that did so much work on that Odin, since they specifically spent that ultimate to check Boathouse and see if anyone was back there. So I would assume all of Mary Washington knew Truman was back there with the Odin. And despite having that info, he still tore through him.
And looking at the buys for this round coming up, Mary Washington is going to force and go for broke.
They have to.
No way.
Oh my goodness, that is not a long-range gun, but he's still going for the wallbang anyway.
Almost an entire clip into the archway.
Though the main thing is that Sui has positioned up in A Heaven this time, so mid is open for Mary Washington to play with. Someone has got to make sure that they smoke off that Heaven because he is holding that sideline just dead aimed. Nebula setting up his flash, gonna push it through the smoke, but another, oh, that's rough. They get blinded instead. Sui gets a pick on toward Death. Now the question is with the smoke and just this Odin just peppering damage through. Sui positions himself wide and takes out Nebula. Still a chance for Mary Washington though, it's 2v2.
Diamond got an elimination. Saturn found one. Diamond's rotating towards 3. Again, we have 2 people on high ground in Heaven. You mentioned it earlier. It seems like it's risky not going from different positions. But as one drops, the distraction is good, and Skeebs finds Diamond and Saturn.
It's risky unless you're Skeebs. You can just pull it off. 8-2. Best that Mary Washington can hope for now is going to be finishing this 8-4. They can still get a lot of Vandals, but one of them is going to have to settle. Zipper, though, he's the one to settle because he can just use knives this turn to equalize all of that. I'm surprised that they still managed to just get all Vandals and only had to settle for a small shield.
I'm not that good at budgeting.
Get out of my way.
Yeah, there's the Blade Storm. We anticipated it because Zipper only bought okay, Sui whiffs.
Zipper now moving. Oh, picks out Zipper in midair with the knives. See next, whirls his oyster at his point, sees the peek around the corner, gets caught off guard, swaps to the shorty, and takes out Nebula.
One enemy remaining. Flawless.
I tell you, I think it's the one thing that's a difference between, you know, a good opper and an oh my goodness, this person is a fiend opper, is their ability to quickly swap over to that sidearm. And Sui just did a magnificent job of that. Quickly was able to suppress war off in time for him to push down the smoke and immediately pull out the shorty. Unreal.
Oh no. Mary Washington is struggling with their financials, just choosing to still buy as much as they can, forcing B site. KJ was the only one to dwindle towards A, possibly attempt to pull any form of attention. But they are committing over towards B site, and they're starting to get pinched. The rotations are coming out from our defenders. Truman and Treason both find one. Zipper and Nebula have been eliminated. There's the pop flash. No one checks by logs, surprisingly. So Death found an elimination, but Death does get eliminated thereafter.
And the half is going to be ended with Wichita State avoiding the infamous 9-3, instead going to finish 10-2 and put themselves up at such a comfortable second half. Even if they lose the first pistol round, you got to think, well, with the bonus round probably going to be going over to them anyway, they'll be looking in worst case scenario after the first 3 rounds, 11-4, and that's still such a huge differential. All ghosts for the purchases.
I like it. I'm a ghost enjoyer.
Also just shows how much it's been in favor of Wichita State. Every single team member has a positive KDA, and everyone on Mary Washington is in the negative. Oh, I like this flank from Mary Washington. They're moving slowly. Oh, I thought they were going to go all the way around, but instead they're going to retreat through Gardens to try to meet up with Wichita State, who moves in toward A. Light Planner goes toward Generator. Nebula wallbangs around the crate, picks up cams. Light planted. I like the lineup on the shock darts from Wichita State. Sui making work in Heaven, just moves on up there and immediately gets a triple. But they're fighting back. Mary Washington, 2v2.
Oh.
Man, that was rough because I was so glad he checked that angle there because it was the right thing to do, but in that particular instance, he just had to land the headshot and takes 3 shots, whiffs on all of them. And Wichita State now going to be going up and getting a lot of Aries for their bonuses. Okay, this is interesting. I didn't know they liked to party like this, but I'm all for it.
Yikes. Death finds Truman, Zipper, Nebula all go down to Thiessen. Oh, I know with a Bucky, this is going to be a little bit rough.
Spike planted.
No one even near that smoke. Tries the right click, lands a headshot, but just the range differential problem is going to be a very big factor for Mary Washington.
Match point.
It's interesting. Just one round left for Mary Washington to hopefully be able to bring this back.
Well, I see we have a Judge purchase, a Stinger, a Spectre, and then 2 Sheriffs. So best of luck.
Hams, that is an interesting crosshair that you have.
I'm
gonna ignore that and just move right on. Death immediately gets taken out in his attempt at the flank.
So big.
I told you that it was a sight to behold.
I mean, mine's a smiley face because I don't play Valorant to be good at the game.
Last player standing.
Oh,
Yikes!
just waiting right around that corner. And that just about does it for the first round. Woo, Wichita State moving on up to match point. Gonna just try to end this all on Breeze.
Breeze, I'm shocked that it's picked. Not surprised considering that we have Sui on Jet, so a lover of the operator tends to be someone who will enjoy being on Breeze, but we have Truman who's going to be at the top of the lobby with 17 eliminations, only 7 deaths. Sui shortly thereafter was 16 and 2. Wow.
It was pretty lopsided the entire match. Man, I'm just trying to look for anything. You know, I'm trying to look for any cracks in Wichita State, but I'm just not seeing them. And I think that's partly just because of their match last week. I mean, they went up against Fisher, so they're already kind of in the mindset of going up against top teams, like very talented teams.
Yeah, if you have if you come off a victory like that, then you definitely are feeling good, but you got to make sure that that also doesn't come back to bite you. You can't get too overzealous, too silly. You still need to play seriously and respect teams, because obviously that wasn't a perfect victory. They did lose rounds. They lost a couple rounds in a row. We don't know what went wrong. They fixed it, but it just goes to show you have to fully respect your opponent in every situation.
Definitely, complacency can really bite you if you're not careful. But moving on over to Breeze, you know, it does have a little bit of a different feel since all the changes have gone through. It's not quite the op free-for-all that it used to be. The attacking team does have a little bit more room to work with in mid, so it opens up some options for pushing on toward A.
Yes, and then there's still just this random tube now that you can walk down and then not do anything inside of. I don't understand why that's there now that it's, quote, under construction. I find that very funny.
It's opening to the attacking team and only the attacking team. All right, Breeze up on deck next, and Wichita State is going to be attacking first. In fact, all the way through, they're going to be attacking should this go to Haven. A lot of the teams for this season have been preferring the three site stages. Haven and Lotus have been extremely popular picks for this game. Scent and Breeze have been kind of there in middling picks. Same can't be said for Sunset. We have not seen Sunset once. It's just an insta-ban.
Don't blame anybody for insta-banning Sunset. If you don't want to take the time, and I'm not saying this to throw shade at anybody, you are students. full-time students on top of playing in competitive esports. You don't got time to learn something new on top of already having to learn everything you have for academics, so then why not just outright ban the map?
I mean, there are still plenty of other choices that you can have for your kind of off-pick stages. You could bring in, you know, Bind, Split, and Breeze have kind of all been in the running for kind of those off-pick stages. But nearly every time it's been Lotus and Haven. But this time Lotus was banned. Haven will come into play should this go to Game 3. And here we go, ready to see who is going to win this. Will Wichita State be able to end this with a clean sweep? Or will Mary Washington show they're more comfortable on Breeze? We're already jumping into this match to a piece. Actually, we're taking a look back at some highlights that we had in a previous match from Mary Washington and RIT.
See Zipper, who has not swapped off of this Jet for obvious reasons. Zipper's very comfortable on Jet, getting a multi-kill.
Ah, yes, I remember this now. The the ace that Zipper got on this op.
Oh, the collapse.
And then just had one more. When we were interviewing Mary Washington, they said they were all cheering for him to get this ace. Reloads and then one shot to pick it up. Just beautiful. And then Diamond had some good plays as well. I always appreciate when someone picks the Cypher. It's kind of an odd choice given that this was on Breeze and he's not normally a pick for this stage, but I was glad to see him nonetheless. So Mary Washington, we've seen that they can pop off, and RIT is a school that often makes a pretty good competitive showing. So maybe it was just that Wichita State was just super focused on playing on Ascent, and it will be different on Breeze.
We'll have to see. We could also, this is from week 4 between RIT and Wichita State on Bind.
It showed that RIT definitely wasn't a pushover in terms of being an opponent. Mary Washington was there, and most of the matches this season have been 2-0s. And nice Bucky play, always nice to see that. A miss on the second shot, but still lands it. Always nice when, you know, it's an economy round and all you have is a Bucky and yet you still manage to trade 2 for 1. That's a happy day in my book.
I'm just happy I get to see some Fade gameplay taking down a Chamber. And it does look like we're ready to launch in onto our second map here for the day between these two teams. It's going to be, as we mentioned, going in. No, I am crazy. Yes, we are finally going to be loading in. And you mentioned Cypher not being normal pick. I've seen Cypher quite a bit on Haven, playing more of this ratty flanker angle, setting up those tripwires, and after a team is committed to an area, making sure that if they counter-rotate that they're aware of it. So we do have Diamond locking in.
Yeah, it's gotten a bit.
So.
Oh, Truman, what are you doing? Truman, can we talk about this?
I'm fine with it. I'm fine with playing the crazy man. Should you?
You're also hovering over Deadlock as well.
Deadlock's ultimate makes me uncomfortable. Can we not?
All right. Well, they have swapped over that. And I mean, Viper is the more must pick for Breeze. You know, you can't go, even if you want to have some fun and change things up. But it looks like they're just baiting us at this point here. It is going to be standard choices as far as Breeze is concerned. And yeah, the Breeze changes to the stages has allowed,
Choose your agent.
Has allowed. Oh, Truman actually locks in the Yoru. All right. Well, I'm excited to see this one.
I am flabbergasted.
Here we go. Wichita State versus University of Mary Washington to secure a ticket to the playoffs. Who will be the victor and who will have their season ended? Ready to head on toward Breeze. That's interesting. They bring out the Yoru. Instead of just going for a full mirror match. Anyway, I was saying beforehand, before I was shocked by the Yoru pick, that we have seen a good bit of Cypher be brought out since the map changes. So
This goes here.
making the map a little bit more enclosed in certain spaces has made him a bit more of a viable pick. Can't see the purchases for either team. The best we can go on is the 3 we have on screen, and it looks like preference toward Ghosts is still going to be present, although Skeeb's taking... Oh, Wichita State is acting silly now.
I think that distracting crosshair might have been your own undoing. We see Cams also go down shortly thereafter. Cypher Cage proc. Truman doesn't, I think, might have gotten 1 hit marker, and then Diamond just found Truman shortly thereafter. Sui, though, who swapped over to the Sova, picks up 2. Spike is confirmed planted. There's 2 left standing for Mary Washington, and then Wichita has 3 members left alive. Let's see, will that man advantage come to fruition to work out better here?
Revealing area.
Ooh, Recon Bolt immediately destroyed. And Wichita State manages to win that one.
I think that's actually, yeah, that's Mary Washington that won that one. Right? No.
No, Wichita State's attacking first here on Breeze.
Yeah, I'm cuckoo.
Zipper immediately just make it. I mean, it is, they have swapped roles too. So you know, seeing Sui on Jet, that's not going to happen to this round. They're changing things up.
Tragic. Zooey, I wanted to see the ace with the
no, you weren't, Ron. Excuse me. Yeah, Shockers are defending first. Which is surprising because that would mean my notes would be wrong all of a sudden. But I guess the show must go on.
Diamond's eliminated. Cams shortly thereafter also gets eliminated. We see Zipper go down. Sander goes down both the Skeebs. Skeebs finds a 3-piece, finding Nebula. Death will pick up Skeebs, but now Death is getting pinched off. It's going to be Thiessen looking to find the elimination, is unsuccessful. The Bulldog, definitely a little bit more powerful, considering Wichita State is bonusing. So we with the Marshall, looking to try and pinch off Death, but is playing very cautiously. Death is in one-shot territory. Truman rounds the corner, also using Marshall, picks up Death. And that's another round victory. That's the thrifty round victory going to Wichita State.
That is pretty devastating. Those are a bunch of free guns that they can pick up. Going back to see how that played out. They had the wall all set up for themselves. Skeebs is just such a threat on that Sheriff. I mean, it's still a 1-hit if you manage to get a headshot. So he's shown that he can definitely do that. So now the standard pace of play has been changed completely. Wichita State, despite losing the first round, is looking to bonus in the third.
Sui with the Marshall finds Zipper, but Nebula with the Sheriff will return the favor in kind.
Diamond currently just trying to find any sort of information he can pull out of B, see if he wants to relay that to Mary Washington on whether they should push that or not. And they're just slow playing this, waiting for a careless peek out by Wichita State. They have all this time to work with. It looks like they're coalescing around B, but there is a lot of tripwires set up. They're gonna have to be careful they don't charge in too quickly.
Poison orb emitting.
Location's gonna be
Spike
revealed.
down,
1-for-1
B.
trade on
30
B.
seconds
Spike
left.
dropped. Still available for
Camera
Mary
taken
Washington,
out.
although
Cage
this
triggered.
Cypher's taking an awful long flank here. Don't know if he's gonna be back to be able to back up his team in time. Because yeah, it's just Death left on, and they're able to get him before he even gets close to the point.
Take it.
So definitely, oh,
We can see the quick replay from Sui getting first elimination, getting eliminated thereafter. And as you were talking about it, the Cypher was just rotating too slow through main, gets caught out as being the last man standing.
It definitely seems there is a team coordination issue with Mary Washington. We'll see if they can dust themselves off because they've got it this round. They've spent everything they have. They have all Vandals. One of them had to settle for small shields, and Skeebs is back on the Skeebs is on the op. And Wichita State already looking to just lock down Mary Washington to another very lopsided game.
Truman with the attempt to flank. It's thwarted by Diamond. However, there was already an exchange. It's 4-2, 4-1, and who's just Cypher left standing, and Skeebs bounding forward with an operator almost at point blank finds the last elimination.
And you saw the crosshair placement for Mary Washington was very much off there. It was kind of a wild swing to the left and back, not even close to landing a shot. If I were the coach right now, I think Mary Washington just needs a break. They need to get up from the computer, take some deep breaths, take a sip of water, because I'm noticing that, you know, their aim is more jittery. They're not quite coordinating as a team as they should. And you can't let that get to you in a match as important as this.
Well, we'll have to see if that call is made for them to get that break. It is early here on second map. 3-1 is totally fine.
One-for-one trade to start things out. Both teams even at 4. Cabbage is going to be thrown out by Mary Washington. See if they can get some more information on how clear B is. There's only 2 posted up there right now. Wall goes up at the right spot, but Sui is still there with firing through the wall. They do get the spike down, so they can't go into post plant. Zipper caught very close. Skeebs gets another shot with the op, and that's enough time to reload. Sui gets the final pick on Zipper. Oh,
What?
wow. That was a little bit of an odd end to that round, charging through the smoke, but Wichita State still gets another. And I think there's one thing that we're seeing here that really is kind of showing the difference between these two teams. And you mentioned it in Ascent, is when the Omen threw out his smoke, he immediately says, okay, you should know where he is. You can track that utility back. But it seems that once a wall is up or any sort of smoke, Mary Washington just isn't quite tracking where Wichita State is positioned, whereas Wichita State is finding much more eliminations through these smokes. I think they just have a better game sense of where their opposing team is, where they're going to go, and that's huge if they can just fire through the smokes and still pick up eliminations. We're seeing that pay off in spades.
I know
Cam's
exactly
off to the side and takes Saturn unaware. Neural Theft is going to be ripped by Mary Washington. Gets the information onto Camps. All 3, they're going to flash around the corner, doesn't find it. Cypher still manages to take out Cams. Cypher is very much a threat. I mean, he is bald now, so, you know, like you say many times, Artie, you need to fear the bald man because he is a threat. Truman trying to even this up, however, it's 2v2. The bald man falls, though, due to Truman getting a double and bringing back the round in Wichita State's favor. Shockers up to a huge lead now, 5-1 halfway through the first half. Purchases look like they're going to be Vandals, but small shields.
Sometimes you just gotta force buy and hope for the best.
They can't even fully do that. Nebula Diamond having to settle for a sheriff.
Here.
Time to jump.
Viper Wall is going to do the standard job of dividing up the points, splitting A in two, trade one apiece for both teams. Down to 4. Thiessen gets a collateral and a quad at that, looking for his ace. Truman's going to steal it from him, but it's still a win for Wichita State. Into the next round, the question is, what does Mary Washington go? They had to force by the Vandals last time. One of them, Diamond's going to buy a Vandal this time, but I have to wonder if it wouldn't just be better to just completely save. I'm not the one running the numbers for that team.
There's a reason why you and I don't work in the stock market.
No.
Get out of my way!
Your blade storm, Zipper.
Cage triggered.
Zipper immediately starts things off with a pick for Wichita State. They're down 4-2. Mary Washington, I mean, I wouldn't have expected it, but they use their ults to immediately get a huge advantage onto Sui. He has to bring this back, and he's tracked by Zipper. It's like a completely new team playing. And that's a huge windfall for Mary Washington. All those Vandals left for them to pick up.
The only thing they have now is neural theft, but as you mentioned, yes, they're looking a little bit more sturdy with their current credit counts. Diamond, you have my respect. Consistently going with the half shields, knowing if it's a headshot either way, I'm going to die. Yeah, I respect it.
Got it.
Off to round 9. Line gonna go out. They're gonna play this one pretty fast. Jet dashes in. Dog goes through wall. It's gonna seek out Truman. Information goes over to Mary Washington, looking to plant under the cover of the wall. Teleporter gonna be thrown out. Skeebs eliminates Zipper. Another flash out from the Yoru. Truman holding down and manages to get a few shots, but it's traded back onto him. Mary Washington now down to 2 apiece. The spike is dropped. Despite all that time on point, they never planted it.
Last player standing.
Oh, that was rough.
Oh, they're encroaching on Death's position. Hunter's Fury just gives you away if you don't pick anybody up with it.
Now the Shockers only have 3 rounds left before they'll get pushed on to attack.
This goes here. That goes there. Yes, this should do.
It's always kind of an interesting game to see where the Cypher decides to place everything. Good Cyphers will always surprise you with the weird angles and locations they can place that tripwire. And Diamond immediately gets a pick onto Truman. Mary Washington up 1 for this round.
Eastside main was locked down by Viper's Pit. They've just decided to abandon it, and now Viper's Pit, Mary Washington being used on A site.
Firing going through the smoke. Might be able to get a pick here, a chip damage here or there. Mary Washington keeping even pace, and I think the main thing is that there just isn't enough time.
Player standing.
As long as they can stall this out, it's Cypher v. Cypher, and Diamond clutches it. Even if they had lost that, there wouldn't have been enough time to defuse that spike. So Mary Washington looking to turn over a new leaf, maybe end this 7-5, which wouldn't be too bad.
Interestingly enough, Thiessen even had neural theft online during that instance and still lost the duel to Diamond.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a time to be using it. If there was more time on the spike, I would think that would have been, yeah, that neural theft is going to be huge in helping you see where the final 2 people are, but the spike was already counting down, and at that point, it's kind of lost. But At the same time, it charges up quickly and it's difficult to use, so if you find a position where you can use it, you might as well. Starting things out, trades back and forth, but Wichita State leads. I should correct myself. They're now down to 3 apiece. Spike goes down fast again from Mary Washington. And I like this new play from them. They let that timer be their best friend. Push Wichita State into an awkward situation.
Toxin screen down.
Was going to back through. Smoke drops.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
Diamond still clutches it, but there's kind of that jitteriness that I'm seeing again from Mary Washington. They're managing to win some rounds, but there are definitely some things where it seems like they're dancing around the head of the other player. We can see it again here. Because has the lineup here. The smoke drops off, crosshair placement is near good, but yeah, Thiessen just walks a little bit and that just completely throws off. So I think Wichita State, if they realize that if they keep moving just a little, that they can very easily throw off where Mary Washington is lined up. Wichita State is going to be forced onto their first economy round of the match. Mary Washington looking to end this 7-5. Cypher Dart's going to miss. Nebula first picks up Skeeves, moving around the pyramids. He's going to plant very soon. Cabbages expunged for Mary Washington. Easton's going to find himself pressured by them. He's the only one right now who's close, although Hams takes his spot in that regard. And just through the smoke is able to get a pick with the judge. It's evened up though. Zipper in this 3-3. Oh, nice blind by the Yoru, but he has a Sheriff and a just crucial gun disadvantage and is facing off against a bold Cypher to boot. Diamond gets the triple, and Mary Washington ending this one 7-5. Well, great recovery, I gotta say, from Mary Washington. I was not thinking that it was going to be this close at the half, but they managed to find some sort of strategy that just threw off the Shockers. Now we'll see if they were looking to favor defense a little bit more, because they definitely have a possibility of winning this.
Seems like Mary Washington swapped their strategy from playing slow, playing for intel, to just play for space, maybe get an intro pick, but claim the objective, because the retake game right now from Wichita is shoddy, and they're taking advantage of it.
And Wichita State definitely seems to thrive in slow play scenarios where they've got their opper set up, they've got their sentinels ready to just, let the crosshair placement immediately get them a headshot. But by throwing them off and just going fast, Mary Washington able to be a challenge to Wichita State. Trade 1 apiece down to 4. Skeeves eliminates Death. Mary Washington now left with 3 to Wichita State's 3. Saturn looking for a flank through the doors on mid. Sees the tufts of Sova's hair, but still whiffs it.
Player standing.
Diamond got 1 elimination, got Cam's half health. Unfortunately, it was them 1-on-2.
For Mary Washington, I'm seeing the structure of some good plays. I think it's just in the end when it comes down to those face-offs, the accuracy just isn't there when they need it to be. Wichita State up to a respectable advantage in terms of guns. Trade 1 apiece. Truman looking for the flank here through mid. Immediately gets blind and has to get on out of there.
Yeah, that's a runaway. I'm pretty sure Truman also saw the 3 people that were standing there. Death goes down. Guardian Gaming coming in. Nebula also falls.
Oh! Risky play, just dashing in towards them.
Still works out in the end as Truman with that Marshall still didn't get fully pushed out of attacker spawn. found the final elimination, even though, yes, Jet ended up passing away at the moment.
All right, full guns bot for Mary Washington. Huge chance for them to bring this back, start to get a bit of momentum on their side. If they don't win Wichita State's bonus, then it might be easy to just count them out because that's such a differential.
Blind firing through hockey screen
Toxin screen
doesn't work out.
And as we move on, the feeling is going to be pushed out by Mary Washington. Death gets a pick onto Skeeves. Mary Washington even back up to 4 apiece. Team looking to play around the corner, immediately plays into the blinds. Just teleports out. Mary Washington still on the retake, and the long range that Truman has is going to get Wichita State up to 10. Alrighty, Wichita State now just 3 away from claiming this. They'll have full rifles to be able to purchase. Mary Washington, the best that they can hope for, I think here is going to be to save this round and then bet it all on the next round. And if Wichita State wins that one, they'll go up to 12, so they'll be at match point.
Looks like they're pulling up the Minutemen. Marshall gang coming in. Mary Washington. Sui will find Zipper, the first elimination of this round. Nebula eliminated, Death eliminated both Truman. Thiessen finds Diamond. Thiessen goes down to Saturn.
Time to jump.
Oh, they immediately fall for the decoy. And Yoru just moves around the tower, immediately takes them out. That's rough. And now Mary Washington, this has to be their purchase round, and I would recommend anything right now now's the time to take a timeout. If you can't get advice from your coach, at least reset your mentals and take a few deep breaths. 'Cause it's there for a reason. Wichita State looks to be cruising towards a victory.
At the end of the day, it's the team and coach's call. If they don't think it's what they need, well,
Time to jump.
you have to trust that.
Decoy.
Truman's going to entry on B site, use his ultimate. Blinds one, Zipper goes down. Nebula is going to find Thiessen. Truman's just going towards McDonald's, clears it, is now at defender spawn and decides to teleport back.
That's still a good bit of information knowing where Mary Washington isn't. None of them are positioned far back in their spawn. Instead, they've all taken toward mid. And look at this flank being brought up by the Jet from Wichita State. Already made their way toward defender spawn. Takes a few peeks.
planted. My ultimate is ready.
Elfep going to be brought out to give just a bit more information. Nebula and Diamond get a pick apiece.
Player standing.
Only one left for the Shockers. Can Mary Washington bring this back? Oh! Cam's just looking to stall this out, but he gets eliminated. And a very crucial round victory for Mary Washington. I said that this was the one they had to win, and they did. They've got a long gauntlet to face down.
All right, we've got one full buy for Mary Washington, two full buys, 1/2 buy. Most likely gonna just have to play the buddy system unless they are going to full force this round.
Get out of my way!
Immediately knives used by Wichita State in response. Viper's Pit going to be set up to B, just going to say no to that route. Unless you want to be going through and right into a Cypher tripwire, which might just be the case. They send the Yoru decoy through it instead. Not going to fall for that. Keeping an eye on mid-heaven.
We saw both shock darts come out, so they're aware that Sova is relatively in this area, and we also have Viper's Pit from the same spot. Sui is going to find both Zipper and Nebula. Diamond working their way around one Cypher cage. See T-Sin get eliminated. Sova was also eliminated by Diamond.
Gonna head go down.
I'll return.
A little bit of a teleport just in case things get hairy for Truman. Bounce. Oh, blinds himself instead. Whoopsie!
Last player
Yeah,
standing.
that Mary Washington will make you pay for that. Now it's just Cam's left with this op. I mean, I guess they can just rush or just body block here. He's going to throw out the molly, but they can stick it.
Pro stick it.
There we go. Okay, Mary Washington, 2 wins in a row. Question is, where does this put Wichita State in terms of economy? Can they just completely run it back? I think they can purchase again for maybe one more round, but then we'll have some interesting questions they got to ask themselves. And I think this was kind of a lackadaisical approach by them. They went for the off like a pure showy play, and that immediately, I mean, look, your actions have consequences, and they're paying off right here. Bringing that out on attack, they definitely, I think, trying to be a bit showy here, but Mary Washington is slowly stopping them. They just rush through, hawk around corner. A lot of fire being exchanged on A through the Viper wall. Nebula gets hit with the dart. Skeeb's first pick onto Zipper. Spike planted down. It's going to be used to get some information on them. Neural theft in response by Wichita State, down to 3 apiece. Util thrown out onto the spike, just in case they try to stick again. Bait on the defuse immediately. Hunter's Fury used, and Diamond takes him out.
Last player
2
standing.
apiece. There just isn't time, though. They can just stall. Yeah, rough situation all around.
Match point.
You've got the Viper, who can just throw out her snake bites, and then you got the Sova with his shock darts. They could just stay off point and let everything run down.
Mary Washington is trying to make best with what they can. Zipper does have Blade Storm, so it's just going to opt to have a classic, maybe a shotgun. Yes, we have 2 shotguns actually getting pulled out. Saturn as well will be using the shotgun. There is Blade Storm instantly used. Neural Theft is also online for Diamond, so if we get a pick and Diamond can get near the corpse, opportunity to gather some extra intel. Zipper unfortunately gets eliminated by Skeebs. Truman uses teleport and is looking to use decoy. Don't know if anyone's going to fall for it this time. Nebula, Death, both eliminated by Sui. Sui gets eliminated thereafter.
Wichita State getting close to ending this match. There's just Diamond left to try to be the only thing keeping them from getting that victory, and it is just him. Saturn is eliminated. He gets 1, has to go up 2-1. Throws out the cage and the neural theft, but the question is, no! Oh, he does manage to pick up 1.
Excuse is very low.
He has enough time. Gets the peek.
Cage triggered.
Baits the defuse. And he gets it.
No problem.
And he's got enough time.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yes, there's enough time.
Clutch.
Okay, well, they're still in it. just by the skin of their teeth, but Mary Washington still staying in this match, and that was a very crucial win as well, because now they can purchase a few more rifles, although they were so starved to credits last turn, it's not going to be a full purchase. And if they keep winning by only having one person left on the field, then full purchases just aren't going to be in their future.
We have 2 full buys. Diamond finally is going to commit to buying the full shields as well.
So immediately popped by Truman, dash in from Skeebs. They hit the decoy, and that's disastrous for Mary Washington. B completely falls, leaving it wide open to a plant. Another blind, and the Yoru is just wreaking terror in this final stage. And that looks like it's probably going to do it. They'll just let this go for a little bit and then issue the final blow, and Wichita State gets their ticket to the playoffs in the LCQ. Overall, they were able to get the victory in the end, so the ranked second team does manage to go on to the playoffs. It wasn't a steal by the ranked third team.
It was not in this instance, but of course we still have another match later, which the story could be slightly different. But for now, Wichita State, you've secured your opportunity to go to playoffs through the LCQ. We can actually see Diamond, top of the lobby, 23-14. Nicely done. Definitely popped off on the Cypher for this round.
Yeah, Diamond played their heart out. And
Yeah.
tried as much as they could to push it toward a game 3, but it just wasn't to be for this match. Well, that's the first of the matches that we have here, and the thing about the next match that's going to be interesting, just to tease, is that we actually have a team that's 3-3 going into the LCQ. So if you want to talk about the ultimate underdogs, we might have that story coming up in the next match. You'll have to see if they pull off an upset victory. But for right now, we're going to take a short break. We always have post-game content, though, so stick around, and we will be back after this, but we will leave you with top 5 plays of the game, brought to you by Mavix Gaming Chairs. Mavix, feel the difference. Here are your top 5 plays. We'll be back soon. And he isn't even positioning on B. He's got a long sight line on mid with that thing. He's going to back up, though. Kasui, more than capable. Now the team goes charging. He can just fire right through the smoke. Look at that tracking right now. Situational awareness. Throws out a shock dart. Huge damage placed onto Saturn. Back the play on A, because it worked out so well for him last time. You know, so bunched up in heaven. Oh, Zipper! And the wall bang through. This is such good play.
They heard the Blade Storm instant.
Cover of the wall. Teleporter going to be thrown out. Skeebs eliminates Zipper. Another flash out from the Yoru. Truman holding down and manages to get a few shots, but it's traded back onto him. Mary Washington now down to 2 apiece.
Nebula eliminated, Death eliminated both Truman. Thiessen finds Diamond. Thiessen goes down to Saturn.
Time to jump.
Oh, they immediately fall for the decoy.
Purchase of a Bulldog guaranteed on KJ. Couldn't see the rest of the team's loadout where the rest of, or everyone else is stuck on pistols, but the Marshall coming out.
Oh my goodness!
Holy cow! That's a triple kill.
A quad kill at that, going for the final one, gets a body shot, swaps over to the Sheriff.
I'm trying.
Welcome back to the Naystar Elite Studio. I tease that we have post-game content that you always want to stick around for, and indeed we do. It's an interview with Sui from Wichita State. Thank you so much for joining us to talk about your win.
Yeah, hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, so we saw you last week going up against Fisher, and you had a great win there as well. Very much of a sweep this week, too. And I wanted to ask, the one thing that we kind of saw in common from that last is we're seeing a lot of play on Ascent from your team. So I was just wondering, since we saw a little bit of back and forth between A and B, personally, what does your team prefer on Ascent? Do you like playing on A a little more or B a little more?
It just kind of depends what strat we're running, but most of the time we'll have a favorite side, and then we'll figure it out from there, depending on what the other team's doing.
So you're likely going into your next game is going to have to face off against Rochester, who's currently undefeated. What is your guys' plan of attack going up against them?
I think we'll just keep playing our game. When we played them last time, we didn't have much practice, so I think we're a lot more established team and have a lot more structure and protocols. So I think we'll be just fine against them.
All right, and just kind of, we want to get you out on this final thought. We want to get you out on this final thought. What will be the main course of play, because things are going to, there's going to be a little bit of a break here now between here and the playoff season. So, obviously some time over Halloween. Do you just have anything you're thinking of spending that time before, the rubber hits the road?
We'll probably just keep practicing. We have CVAL going on as well. We'll keep playing that and just keep doing our thing. We'll probably have some fun here and there. And yeah, that's
All
about it.
right. Well, thank you for joining us. Congratulations on your win. We'll see you in the grand finals later on. And speaking of the grand finals,
Thanks, guys.
one thing I want to mention just to all of you watching is next week, we don't have any competition for next week, but we will have a special reveal stream for the bracket next Friday for NA Star League. So if you're wondering how all the teams in all our games, who's going to face off against who, which when we've got teams like St. Clair and Maryville, that's a huge question you want answered. You're going to want to tune in next week for that. But for this week, though, we still have one more game in the last chance qualifiers for Valorant. We'll get to that as soon as we can, and we will take a short break. Hope to see you at the other end of it.
One purchase of a Bulldog guaranteed on KJ. Couldn't see the rest of the team's loadout where everyone else is stuck on pistols, but the Marshall coming out.
Oh my goodness!
Holy cow! That's a triple kill.
A quad kill at that, going for the final one, gets a body shot, swaps over to the Sheriff.
Got two rotating forward. They take care of the alarm bot. Well, the alarm bot. We have a trade cams for Diamond.
One enemy remaining.
Ooh, Thiessen with two, Skeebs with one. Saturn is alone in
Wanted back the play on A because it worked out so well for him last time. You know, so bunched up in heaven. Oh, Zipper! And the wall bang through. This is such good play.
They heard the blade storm instant.
Oh, picks out Zipper in midair with the knives. Next, whirls his oyster at his point, sees the peek around the corner, gets caught off guard, swaps to the shorty, and takes out Nebula.
One enemy remaining. Flawless.
His spot in that regard, and just through the smoke is able to get a pick with the judge. It's evened up though. Zipper in this 3-3. Oh, nice blind by the Yoru, but he has a Sheriff and a Cypher to Washington, able to be a challenge to Wichita State. Trade one apiece down to 4. Skeebs eliminates Death. Mary Washington now. That's it.
Standing.
Death gets a pick onto Skeebs. Mary Washington.
Thiessen finds Diamond. Thiessen goes down to Saturn.
Time to jump.
Oh, they immediately fall for the decoy. In case they try to stick again. Bait on the defuse. Immediately, Hunter's Fury used, and Diamond takes him out.
Last player
To a
standing.
piece, there just isn't time though. They can just stall. Welcome back to the NACE Star League studio. You're joining us for the last chance qualifiers all this week. Today we're looking at Valorant. We already had our first match. Now we move on to our second of the night. Highland Community College versus Cumberland. I'm your host, Jacob Palmer. Joining me by my side, I've got Artemis Rain. Thank you so much for being here to call these LCQs. And this one for Cumberland, it's a little bit of an interesting situation how they got to this point.
Interesting is a nice way of putting it. So Cumberland was in a three-way tie for first place, and so then there is a set of rules in place that NACE has to determine who is genuinely our first place victor for their current division. and then anybody else has to go battle it out in the LCQ. Well, despite technically being one of those people able to be first place, after the rule was implemented for determining the tiebreaker, Cumberland is now here battling it out for their ticket to go into playoffs in our LCQ.
Let's take a look at how we got here. We first started out with Mary Washington going up against Wichita State. Now we'll get to the second game, Highland versus Cumberland. Best of threes, that's why there's only 2 today. Those best of 3 Valorants can go a bit longer. And we actually do know a little bit more about this particular matchup, at least in terms of what we will be starting out on. I'm told Bind is the first stage.
Okay, lots of smokes. Yippee. We could also, of course, take a look at the players for both these teams. And for Highland, it's going to be Doobie, Ramio, Nas, Its Demise, and Big Tonka.
Took me back to my kindergarten days there. And there we go. Foxy, Bill Goat, Cascola, Cluey, and more. We've seen Cumberland beforehand, but we haven't seen Highland Community College. And Highland Community College is another interesting case because they're entering into these LCQs 3-3, kind of one of the lowest win-loss ratios that we see. But there's always a chance for upsets, and here is where that upset might take place. Bind, Breeze, which you already saw, and Ascent. So Bind is the only new stage here. I've been talking so much about how we have seen three site stages all this season. Not the case for today, though.
Nope, and also quick correction on my part, that is Druby. Apologies for the mispronunciation. But Bind is a map that if you enjoy playing a lot of smokes, you tend to have a field day on. Smokes can, obviously, if you place them in the right spots, make it very difficult for anyone to aggress into point A or point B. And so typically we see at least a Brimstone being played. However, with the current state of the game, I anticipate at least 2 smokes per each team, and most likely we're going to see a mirror matchup with maybe 1 agent different.
We've been seeing a lot of mirror matchups lately. I wouldn't also be surprised if on Breeze we also see even more smokes be brought out. Of course, you know, Jet can place down her smokes, but they're not true smokes. But with Breeze being one of those stages that just demands a Viper pick, you're already setting yourself up for another 2 smoke composition. You're already halfway there. But Viper can also do a lot on her own, so we'll just leave all the decisions to the teams once we get to that stage.
Yes, and we are about to actually jump into the players picking whichever agents they choose to go with for our first map of Bind. I'm excited personally. I feel like Jet is just a staple currently. Rarely do you see a composition that does not consist of a Jet, so I'll be surprised if we don't see one when we go into Bind. Yes, as Jacob mentioned, she has smokes, but we could theoretically still see 2 more, but most likely a Jet and 1 other smoke would probably be all one team may need. We'll have to wait and see, though. At the end of the day, it's up to the players.
It has been just, Valorant is one of those games where the classic players and stages have just been sticking around. I mean, we look at the past 2 agents. I mean, we have Deadlock and Harbor, and where have they been? You know, I mean, the only one we've really seen is Gecko every now and again during the regular season, but mostly players know what they like. They know what the game came out with, and they're more than happy to stick with it.
We're actually checking out one side here. We've got a Viper as well as Sky. Raze, definitely want to be careful walking through showers if you're dealing with a Raze or any tight corridor. Those paint grenades definitely are quite deadly. You're also going to have Chamber and then Brimmy. We do see Twizzy is going to be thinking about locking in the Jet. Also, yeah, surprised to see one side, our attacking squad, no Jet whatsoever. The duelist being Raze over the Jet. Then we're going to have Sky, KJ, Brimstone. What is our final lock-in?
It's going to determine what they decide to double up on since all the other roles are locked in. I mean, I'm not too surprised about the Raze. I mean, you know, Jet may be, you know, the cover girl for Valorant, but I would say Raze is the cover girl for Bind, if you know what I mean. It's just, this stage has just been a Raze stage for as long as I can remember. And we're going to ready to jump into it. Cumberland versus Highland Community College. We'll see who pulls off the victory. I'd say Highland goes into this the definite underdogs, but you never know what might be brought to the table.
So It's Dismissive ended up being the one to lock in the Jet. I wonder if we have 2 people that are capable of playing duelists, and so that Jet player may swap when we go into our next map and be like, hey, I had to play Viper last map. It's your turn, because yes, Viper is great on Breeze, but so is Jet.
He's also talking a lot about the classic agents. The only kind of newer agent already is over a year old. It's amazing how time flies. But Chamber has kind of like nudged his way in to almost be considered a classic at this point because he's been so dominant throughout so many metas. Even through so many nerfs to his kit, he still sees play.
Who doesn't want to play a character that can give you a free op?
I mean, it's true. He's a Sentinel, but I mean, I'm sure a lot of duelists love to play him as well because he can just go to town on his gun. But here we go. Island Community College is going to be defending first. And we have Cumberland in the red. Right now, a little bit of an even split, deciding if they want to go A or B. Mid, not an option, of course, on Bind. A little bit of a group up to swing around Fountain.
Toxin screen down.
Twizzy, along with their Sky, are posted up on B site, one taking angle around boxes, the other chilling out near defensive spawn. Jiggle peeking, we have a commit through, heading towards Hookah, just outside teleporter with the enemy Viper from Cumberland. Billy Goat's going to push forward, Hawk is used, Twizzy goes down, Bilgo also goes down, as does Tonka.
Cumberland successfully takes B, gets the plant. We're on to post. Few cautious peeks around through hall. Smoke gets placed down. They move in to try to get the retake. Just be lulling them into a sense of security. Yeah, that raise, she was hanging out. They didn't check it, and she made him pay.
Slim does get Morg, as well as Cluey. But in a 2v1 matchup, Slim goes down, and Cumberland will be victorious.
In case you were wondering, also, we said that there was a three-way tie in the specific division that Cumberland was in. That would be the East 6 division. The other two schools who were in that were West Virginia and West Kentucky. So West Virginia was the one who won that tiebreaker and gets the kind of the natural ticket, but both Cumberland and West Kentucky being the ones to slug it out here in the LCQ. Good.
Dang, that was a bloodbath over in A main.
Spike down A.
They all fall. It's just quick and to the point. No fooling around about that. They knew they had the weapon advantage and they just pushed it to the fullest capacity. So now we go into the bonus for Cumberland. Three of them still are able to carry their weapons. The other two, we do see one Phantom being purchased. More, of course, is loaded up on bullets with his headhunter, so we'll probably just stick to that rather than just buying a gun.
Slim is going with the Judge purchase, possibly looking to lurk around lamps. We'll have to see where they decide to post up in the end.
God thrown out from Fountain. Checks the teleporter, immediately he's going to draw out a snake bite. Oh, gets the sight on to Aonoki. Considering the fact that he had a Phantom and against a handgun, trading 1-for-1 is not too bad. In fact, if Phoenix, if Cumberland manages to just, really just move out throughout, is able to trade 1-for-1 throughout the majority of this round, considering Highland Community College, if I were them, if I was Phoenix, bonusing with that, if I was Cumberland bonusing with that, I would be pretty happy. And I would be even more happy if I won the third round entirely. Moving into round 4, this is now really the time now where I would say if Highland, I would give Highland until their next full buy before I would recommend pulling out a timeout.
Well, last game, in our last series, we saw a similar situation, and they chose to just tough it out. No, it was not Highland that was in that match, of course, but at the end of the day, like we've mentioned, it's not. If they feel as though it is okay to continue, then then we have to just trust that call. So we have a share from It's Dismissive. Shooting at Petrus does not pick up the elimination. However, we do see Twizzy to do so. Morg will therefore get the trade on Twizzy. Morg goes down to Ayana Koji. Ayana Koji's chilling out inside lamps, drops down the smokes. Unfortunately, loses the duel with Kluey in a 3v1 swing. Kluey will then pick up It's Dismissive. Big Tonka, I think, is, yes, last one standing.
Quick shot with the Bucky in lamps. Still a chance for Highland, but he was being tracked close behind that.
See the Bucky getting pulled out inside of lamps. Close quarters combat. Shotguns are nice if you know what you're doing. As far as ultimates online, we can see Tour de Force from Highland is going to be used. We also have Showstopper as well as Seekers.
You want to
Orbital
play?
Strike
Let's
for
play.
Highland is going to be online. Yes, there's the Tour de Force voice line.
By the way, if you're wondering why we are saying Cumberland, but it's PHX in the overlay, that's because that's their mascot. They're the Cumberland Phoenix.
Thank you.
For anyone who was just wondering that little discrepancy. Highland going up against the Phoenix. Quick shot by the Tour de Force, and he gets hit for a good bit of damage. Has to rendezvous out of there. We'll be taking a peek on a short. Just a little bit of a wait out from both teams. Neither of them wants to take too careless a peek. Slow push up a short by the Phoenix. Wait on the beambot. Wall goes up again, so now they just have to deal with lamps. They do get a little bit of chip damage because Highland is firing through the wall.
I've got your trail.
Overall for Cumberland, they'll go back to be able to get the stem. Move in with the Showstopper. Blast Pack falls. A bit of a weird bounce right into the snake bite.
Does find the Elin, but sub 50 health. And Orbital Strike has been committed. It finds Ayana Koji. Actually, it's more to find Ayana Koji. Foxy and Cascola will find one apiece. Twizzy finds one. Morg gets the last kill. No one left alive, and that is another round to the attackers.
Quick replay because I had to see how this Showstopper transpired because this was a weird turn of events if I had ever seen one. Although this is right after the Showstopper, so thanks production. The one thing I wanted to see, I don't get to see. So we don't always get what we want. Cascola doing pretty good. It's already up to 10 on his KDA.
It's Dismissive, saw someone's ankles and instantaneously backed off.
Just a nope. Luca's smoked off. Sets up the rendezvous from Morg, goes charging, and Foxy gets the first pick. With a 5-4 advantage, Cumberland moves toward B. Gets the point success, gets it planted successfully. Takes a little bit of spray fire through the smoke, just to see if they can't pick up a dink or two. Smoke from Highland in response to try to retake the point. Tonka and Aoki try to go around the corner through elbow, but that judge is just not going to be able to reach anyone remotely placed near Hookah.
We can still end this half 6-6.
I mean, we did see that Last round as well, Mary Washington, I believe, had a similar stat line on Breeze, and they managed to finish it up 7-5. So that's the one deceptive thing about Valorant is sometimes you get a win streak early on, you become complacent, and then all of a sudden, I thought we were winning, but we're tied 6 apiece.
No, you started in team.
Morg is going to be happy with that op that he has. Slim still. Highland still not able to get a full purchase, so they're going really heavy on their judge hopes.
Poison's off.
Viper's Pit committed on B site, trying to prevent anyone from going in. Thankfully, there is no showstopper from Raze on this engage to literally just be like, okay, and yeet the showstopper into the Viper's Pit to try and blow someone up. But as I'm discussing this, it's dismissive. We'll end up finding Fluey, and then Morg finds it's dismissive. We do have one chilling out in Lamps. Sayana Koji, again, still on that Brimstone in Lamps, likely with some form of a shotgun.
Oh, Cascola turned away, but manages, just on pure crosshair placement, to be able to just get a one-shot, clears out B, gives the signal to their team. The charge goes in, the spike goes down. Highland on the retake.
I think Gascola intentionally made it look as though they were going to disengage and baited the Viper out of Viper's Pit through Hookah to try and kill them. So we have Morg in Hookah, take down Slim.
Last player standing.
And Tonka.
Ooh. Yeah, that last rotation was just not going to be a factor. That was pretty nail-biting for me. Both of them had a sightline on it, and you're the one peeking out with an op. Whew. The Phoenix are definitely bringing the hurt. Going up to 7-0. Oh, immediately knives. Start things off for Highland, but look out here for Slim. Oh, he moves out of the way. The pod actually forces him out, so he isn't able to take that close angle he wanted to with the judge.
I think Trailblazer also spotted Slim, so Slim had no choice. It's dismissive. We'll find one. Slim goes down. Foxy's eliminated. There's Showstopper, but it's too far.
Oh!
Everything. Just throws everything at Raze.
Hey, you get them to spend their showstopper, you go up to 4-2. I like that trade any day. Tonka is going to bring out the cabbages to try to make it easier for Highland to retake because Morg still has this op, probably the biggest prize on the field. He gets taken down. First win for Highland, a whole bunch of guns that they can grab. And maybe this is the start of a much closer game.
Yes, someone grabbed the op, even though typically you give it over to your Jet. I wonder who grabbed the op, or if Jet will end up with the op anyway at the start of the next round. Looks like no. Jet is stuck with who took the op? No one picked up the op? You're joking.
You're on defense, so it wouldn't be the...
Someone did. You can see it.
Okay, yeah, okay, it is the Jet. Okay. Whew. Sometimes looking at things with your eyes is hard. My eyes fail me many, many times a day, so.
Yeah, I don't have contacts in right now, so mine are crying.
Both teams also have the exact same loadout. Rifles, one op, and one judge that immediately, with the blast pack into Labs, is going to make their presence known. Picks up that Vandal, and looking to increase their advantage even more with another op, gets the Killjoy, trying to take the Jet, and is now going to go over to the Vandal because things are a little bit too far range.
Yeah, that's understandable. For a second, I thought Morg was someone on Highland's team, and I was like, Cascola, come on, don't fall into the trap.
Speaking of falling into traps, it's dismissive, has actually dropped the op, left it back, doesn't want to let the other team pick it up. Is going to pick it up now. It's still doable, 3 apiece. Move up to Heaven. Tonka gets a pick, that's huge, it's traded back. And Highland picks up a second round in a row. You know, there was a little bit of wondering why why Cumberland went for the Raze instead of the Jet. This is the reason they go for the Raze, because she can be absolutely so destructive. I mean, there are such close rooms like hookah and lamps in which that bomb bot is just amazing, and then just using the blast packs around just for the mobility.
Get that parkour. Still going to have the duel of the fates regarding the operators. Who's going to be the better one with the shot? Will it be our chamber, or is it going to be the Jet? I think we no longer have any judges. Everyone was able to full buy on the side of, for Highland this time.
Whole lot of sight denial placed on A short, but the push goes through B, making their way toward hookah. Two swinging out into Fountain. Might be able to flush out this Viper. Bit more attention being placed by Highland onto B. Cluey picks out Wizzy. Smoke goes down. Dog will go through it. And still want to push on to B. They'll bring out the orbital strike to clear out the point. But look at Highlands. Look at their brim. Look at both brims. A triple for one, a double for another. It's down to one apiece. And the quick judge play by Slim to win it. Oh my goodness. I was not expecting that round to be that weird.
Explosive is still a fitting term.
I mean,
I know
yes,
you were wanting to say it.
Well, I mean, you start out with the triple. I'm thinking you're up to 4-2, but then all of a sudden the other brim just decides to pop off as well. And then it comes down to a one-on-one that's won by a judge. Well, Highland, I mean, they definitely entered into this the underdog, but they're making a show and making moves. 3 wins in a row.
You want to play? Let's play.
We'll see if the chamber can put a stop to that with this tour de force.
Oh. Oh, okay. I really thought Slim would win that duel having the peak advantage. Considering KhazixmayJump, I think, rounded corner twice with melee weapons out by Anakoji's just chilling out. Yeah, judge out that range kind of stops working. Anakoji again still has orbital strike, opportunity to use it, believe it's going to come in. There it is.
Viper's Pit as well as the brim smokes onto point. U-Haul is locked down, and Morg is gonna keep it locked down. Pick from Lamps. Cluey throws out another Molly to keep Highland at bay. At this point, they gotta charge in. That's a good first peek.
Last player standing.
But it's this Viper's Pit that gives Cluey the added advantage of stealth. A look away at the wrong moment. Shows the wrong angle to peek. And Phoenix now have a bit of momentum back towards themselves. I'm surprised how many times we're seeing the judge. I mean, even on Bind, we're almost seeing like both teams trying to compete with each other to see who has the best judge play.
Why not? Let them judge each other.
Hey, I like that. And there's still the chance Slim wants to make moves with their own judge. So. Now Slim in the exact same position as last round is still centered up on A short. Has the peak advantage, going to be forced out a little or just sticks through the snake bite. Oh.
Sorry, Slim. I don't think they were going to let you get away with it a third time.
Yeah, and I think that particular spot, especially since they're more than content to just throw out a snake bite, there's really nowhere for you to go that's comfortable. So I would say change up your positioning, but this is the end of the first half anyway, so it's just going to be that. You'll be on the other side. Showstopper going to be brought out onto B. Doesn't see anybody, and this Viper just right from behind, yes, takes the Raze out. I love it. Ambushes the ulting Raze. Puts Highland at even footing with Phoenix.
Spike planted.
Oh, I think Sky has a sliver of health left. Big Tonka eliminated, Anakoji eliminated.
Player standing.
Twizzy's down. Just, oh, I thought that was a knife. No, it was a Bucky. No, it was a shorty actually.
Switching sides.
Cumberland now goes over to defense with a 9-3 lead. Highland will get their chance to go on offense down to the pistol round. Very important. If you win this first pistol round, you're expected to win round 2. In the case of Cumberland, that would put them up to a cool 11. Really put the onus on Highland to just get the winning streak of their lives. Cascola, the main one who's just top fragging throughout the whole thing. 18, 9, and 2. Well, and Morg at 16 and 6.
Oh, speaking of Morg's first to go down.
Oh!
Cumberland and Slim picking up a 2K. Casacola, though, returns in favor in kind, picking up a 2K themselves. Now we're in a 3v2. Highland has one extra player. Brimstone for Cumberland. It's dangerously low on health, and it's probably going to have to play meat shield a little bit for Raze.
Toxin screen down.
Of course, Cumberland doesn't have their healer available, so that low health that their Brim is sitting at is going to have to stay at only 26. So any shot from one of these handguns could be the end. Wall drops, immediately gets some uncomfortable eye contact with Twizzy. Still wins the face-off, but it's not going to be enough.
Casacola was also at 4 health, so neither one really had much to stand on. You can see this initial 2 for 2.
Purchases, bonus with. Overall, except for the one Vandal, pretty reserved in terms of purchases. They're comfortable just sticking on their sheriffs.
Possibly right now, Highland is looking to just make sure that they're spending as little as possible considering the economy for Cumberland right now.
A bit odd on the crosshair placement there. I was definitely lined up for a body shot, but that's not what you want on the head hunter. It's named that for a reason. It's not the body hunter, it's the head hunter.
Only a little bit of shade coming from Jacob. Big Tonga is going to get eliminated. There's 2 left standing for Highland. This is a better performance that we've seen here in the second half thus far from Cumberland. Can they keep this up? It is a 1v4. Theoretically, the numbers are in their favor.
Okay, this is pretty big. We're not even going to get to the bonus round. A bunch of free guns picked up by Cumberland. Although since a lot of those purchases weren't exactly the most impressive, the only thing that's actually going to get picked up is that Guardian.
Lots of half buys for Highland as well. Rounding towards Hookah. Also B main, it's dismissive, is going to be eliminated first by Casacola. Slim is narrowly dodging some paint grenades, however, is at 41 health.
Oh, this is risky. Twizzy just moves through all the smoke and gets taken out by the snake bite. Okay. Hey, you know, you do you. It's just...
It was then that they knew that they messed up.
Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it works out.
I'm all for some dodgeball references. Well, you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball, but can you dodge a bullet is the question we gotta ask right now.
It wasn't even a bullet, it was a snake bite.
That works.
Sorry to anyone who's never seen dodgeball.
Teleport's ready.
Phoenix also giving Morg that op, and he's positioned right on top of U-Hole.
All right, show me what you got, Morg. You posted up with the operator last half. Are you gonna be able to? Oh, the slow jiggle kick from Ayana Koji was their own undoing. pop and swing. Do the pop and swing. Your shoulder showed first, and then you're like shimmying in. They can just line up the crosshair all day long, and Ilgo will also take down its demise. Looks like this round's probably going to go in favor of Cumberland.
One enemy remaining.
Most likely, and that gives a very rough situation for Highland. They need to win 7 in a row from here on out, not making one mistake.
Jacob is over here like, no pressure.
No pressure.
Just be perfect.
Be perfect. And they're not even going to be able to full purchase on their start of being perfect. They're having to settle for one judge and small shields for everybody, it appears. Except for one, it's Twizzy. Nope, it's small shields for everybody, so.
Slim back on the judge again. We don't demand perfection, by the way, as casters. We're just hoping to see it from Highland here in this round, because if they manage to start here, pick up guns, and continue forward, especially if it's flawless, that's the important part. Get free guns for the whole squad.
Cumberland is all positioned, almost all of them are positioned around A short. And that's the opening play. Even their chamber is pushed all the way up toward pushed up toward market. Which is going to push through Babs. Highland gets the first pick. Foxy waiting around the corner, and Cubby going to take out Highland and make this an even 4-4. Tonka answers it back, flushes Foxy out of Cubby.
Spike planted.
Hawk does blind one. Ayana goes down to Morg. Dismissive finds Morg. Remember, this is end all be all for bind. Yes, it is best of 3, but as I'm saying that, Highland, that's another round in their back pocket. They are at 5. Can they do it 7 more times is the question.
When they all have rifles to use this time. But so does Cumberland. They've saved up a pretty penny for a rainy day. They're just going to be able to full buy again, including the op.
Morg is a little broke, though. If this round doesn't go in their favor, Morg is very broke.
Although Highland not out of the woods quite yet, they're still having to go for small shields for 2 of their players. Peek out around Bass, some fire's going to be exchanged, but no damage. Seems like it's the same route for Highland. They're able to trade one apiece. Louis puts Cumberland into a 4-2 lead.
One enemy remaining.
One left for Highland, and Twizzy's gonna stick in there though, and that does it. Again, the snake bite ending it. The snake bite is ending a lot of plays today, and I don't know how to feel about that.
I mean, it's fitting in real life. You get bit by a snake, it's probably going to be ending a few things for you.
True, very true. Well, we want to thank our sponsors for Naystar League for helping to bring this match and all the others to you. One of them includes Extra Life, program of Children's Miracle Networks. You can get involved by playing video games at various special events to make a positive impact in kids' lives everywhere. Go to Extra Life to find out what event is near you to support them. And of course, Truth, the largest public health organization dedicated to a future where tobacco and nicotine addiction are a thing of the past. To find out about the effects of vaping on mental health, go to breathofstressair.com. That does it for Bind. We move on to Breeze now. But before we do, let's take a look at how everything's shaked out for that. You can see, yeah, Cascola. Yeah.
24, well, okay, 24 and 13. Still more slightly better KDA with 20 and 8. You hit the double digits on the deaths.
But I mean, I think most importantly, led in first bloods. And
yes.
Once you're able to start off every single round at just a 5-4 advantage, remember, you never want to have a fair fight. You want it to be lopsided in your team's favor all the time.
I completely understand where you're coming from. Also, it's Raze. It's Raze on Bind. Mm-hmm. What did we expect?
Now let's see you pull off Raze on Breeze, and then I'll be very impressed here. Although I don't think that's in the cards.
I think Cascola will likely swap over to the Jet for this one. We'll have to wait and see.
Phoenix taking the first round. I also like that they gave the little personal touch of the headphones on the Phoenix, too. Some universities just use their athletics logo or their academic logo, which is fine, but I always like when there's a little change on it to make it esports specific.
Yeah, let's give him a gamer headset. With that being said, we're going into Breeze. We saw this earlier. Honestly, if you knew that Morg was going to be playing this chamber, theoretically, you know, your team has scouted. They're fully aware that Morg likes playing chamber. Also, that they have, you know, just absolutely insane lineups and ready for people to round corners at the tiniest angles to get those initial entry picks or people, well, actually, I should say defensive first picks. Would you be going Breeze?
It's a tough choice. I mean, I think if they recognize that they've just got a very cracked chamber who can do all sorts of things, they know they're going to get at least one map pick, and then they can just kind of hope that another one lines up that might be in his wheelhouse. And I got to say, with Breeze or even Ascent, you know, Ascent also has great opping places as well. I think Morg is going to be eating well tonight.
Yeah, I'm afraid for Highland considering how Morg was performing with that operator. That was where I was really coming from earlier, because Highland, if you did your research, Morg is trying to send all of you to the morgue. In-game, of course.
We can go load into the game because it looks like the teams are just about ready to choose their agent selection. So we'll get into that in a few seconds as everyone is saying they're ready. And I gotta say, I don't know if we'll see I don't know if we'll see too many different comps. The best that we've gotten for today has just been one agent difference between the teams. And then everything else is a mirror match.
Well, we've got matching jets. Sova, of course. No, Slim, you're pulling my leg right now with the deadlock, right?
No. Yeah.
Harbor.
The deadlock, then the harbor, and then the neon. Yeah,
I'm just not trusting Slim until Slim's fully locked in. Cypher, Sova, Viper, Jet, KO. Okay, that makes sense. Viper and Jet also makes sense. I'm wondering, is Tonka really set? Okay, there we go. Because Tonka played this guy last round as well. I was like, are you just very much so adamant on playing this guy? I do think Sova, especially on Breeze, gives you just a little bit more utility and opportunities to get more intel. I wonder what Ayanakoji's going to pick, considering we saw them on Brimstone during the last map. Are they going to be the KO here for their team? Maybe.
Choose your agent.
Looks like they're going to be relying fully on that Riot Zero, waiting for the chamber lock-in. And we are actually going to see a harbor be brought out. Now, that should be interesting. Highland versus Cumberland, ready to hop into game 2. Cumberland sitting at match point. You know, if it's Dismissive loves playing the harbor with his moving wall, then there's a certain new agent that's coming out that has a moving wall, but better. It's also bulletproof.
That's just cheating.
And Harbor's now in the corner crying. But we'll get to that once that all plays out. For now, we're in the second game of this best of 3, heading on down to the sunny beaches of Breeze. And Cumberland University is going to be attacking yet again, so they're going to stay on the same side.
I'm really interested to watch Ayanakoji on this round, considering we had them on Brimstone previously. The chamber pick here is, unfortunately, that's not what I wanted, nor anticipating being the first thing to see. Ayanakoji, that's my fault. I caster curse you.
I know we always joke about caster cursing, but every now and then there's one time that comes along that's so perfectly timed it gets to me.
I was interested because I feel like swapping from the Brimstone to Chamber in particular is just drastically different.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, Morg with the flank. Weren't expecting him at all, and that's a flawless for the Phoenix. Spike really didn't come into play that much. They did get it planted down, so they'll get the extra credits from that. They were more than happy just winning that on eliminations alone. And now, fairly standard, although Foxy wants to go all the way up to a Vandal to bonus with.
Foxy with with half shields and a Vandal. Okay. I'm just going to trust you on that one. Anna Koji, are we going to have the same mistake twice? Well, technically no, because even if you go to the right side, there's nobody there. Going to round through main, around tower. Got a minor default happening. Two players sticking out in main. Jet is just chilling out by B, seeing if there's anyone who's going to try and do a far flank from our defensive squad.
Well, Foxy knew he wanted the Vandal and put it to good use. Also a shock dart elimination. Always love to see it. Rotation over toward B. That's the Phoenix's MO.
I think Highland finally realizes there was a rotation happening. Ayana Koji needs to be careful. Does pick up Morg with the headhunter. Casacola staring down double arches.
One enemy
Picks up
remaining.
Quizzy. Lord Ayana Koji has gone down as well.
Flash.
What?
You just blind yourself and your teammate.
Didn't need it. Just fired right through it. Cluey.
I'm pretty sure Chloe also got blinded. Whoopsies.
That's what I'm saying. Cluey didn't even need ice.
I don't need it.
Just fired. Believed. And here we get that great
Yeah.
final moment. Not necessarily a 360 no scope, but you know,
It's a blind fire for sure.
it's a yeah. Same general spirit. So now we go into the bonus round. Phoenix having a pretty good selection of, well, is at least going to be able to match Highland in terms of the Vandal. The one Vandal their Cypher has, but Highland needs to win this if they don't want things to get too nasty.
Foxy found one. Oh, Morg. Gave me a heart attack, but that's okay. Uses Cloud Smoke, also dashes in.
Enemy kill.
Switches to the Bucky, to the Shorty for a moment, picks up another elimination onto Harbor. Tonka is
Spike
going to
planted.
rotate towards mid. Spike has now been confirmed planted, but the Jet and the Sova still full health. Have the opportunity to get in. Looks like Sova's playing a little hesitant.
Your fault.
Ooh, nice crosshair placement by Twizzy and Elbow. They'll pick up that Vandal. 2-3, and Tonka now makes it 2-2. Oh, but the jiggle peak gone wrong spells doom for Highland, and Phoenix has won their bonus. I think they're feeling pretty confident in how this match is going to turn out.
I mentioned it before we hopped into Breeze that Morg with the operator
Yeah.
is scary.
And he's not even on defense. He doesn't even have the advantage that, you know, an op player wants to have, and like, you know, you hold an angle and wait for them to come to you. He's having to peek them, but he's just so cracked on it. That,
Get out of my way.
oh, I like that lineup.
Quizzy also is choosing to go with the Marshall and is going to activate Blade Storm on engage.
Toxins failing.
Whoa!
Thank you. Slim almost completely unloaded a clip before the other Viper noticed.
There goes the soon-to-be inferior Harbor wall, pushing through door.
Wow. Just really gonna give it that to Harbor main, aren't you?
What, all 10 of them?
Yes.
Meanwhile, Morg just doing what those Jet Knives do best, picking up eliminations. The Phoenix now go up to a 4-0 lead. It's dismissive, the only one. No, he could technically full purchase, so.
There's always someone.
There's always, yeah, someone. They're playing the long game. They're thinking 2 or 3 rounds from now. That extra 500 credits.
It's gonna pay off eventually. Saving for the op.
Wave crashing.
Foxy, first pick.
I know
Chamber evened up, and that gives Cypher the ability to use his neural theft.
Baldman is out. Casacola finds Twizzy. It's 3 versus 3. Ooh.
And Baldman is down.
Aw, poor Baldman. One way at double doors.
Trying to pick back up some of his util before they go in for
Scanning
the
ahead.
retake. Scanning dart's going to be thrown out. Does it get a ping? It doesn't look like it got a ping onto Slim. Tonka coming through spawn. Peek through, trying to peek at the same time to be able to get rid of
Oh, no.
Cascola, but he wins the 1v1. It's down to a 1v1 to decide it. Location revealed, though. That's great for the Sova. He misses, though, on his fire. Jiggle peek. Okay, gets the half. That was like mind games.
Oh my goodness, that gun animation.
That is, wow, someone has put their Radianite to good use.
I don't know if production can show us that again, but I've never seen that one and it was gorgeous. I would like to see it again, please.
It was like he was trying to wait out, you know, do I bait the defuse, do I jiggle peek, and both of them were trying to think 2 steps ahead of each other. All right, it's a full save for Highland. The only thing they'll have going for them is some sheriffs. And the knives, of course. See how good Twizzy is to maybe get a gun or 2 that Highland can pick up.
Everyone but Cypher's posted up A main currently for our attacking squad, Cumberland. Null command's been triggered.
Ooh.
Spike down A.
Updraft, find Cluey. Slim goes down to Casacola. I think that was one of Casacola's mollies. It's dismissive's gonna open the doorway.
Spike planted.
Cascola eliminates Tonka. Down to 4v3. Now tied to 3 apiece. Waiting, Morg missing a lot of these shots on the op, but Foxy is a good player in their own right. There we go.
Let me see it. Oh my gosh, that is gorgeous. I love it. I'm not gonna spend money on it, but I love it.
So maybe I know who you're rooting for now every single round just to see the animation.
You don't even have to get the defuse. You don't even have to get the spike plant. It just has to be the last kill.
And production is going to be gracious enough, it looks like, for this round to let us. Oh, no. I know they're laughing right now.
Oh, I know they are too. They're just far enough away for once that we don't get to hear it and know that they are taunting us. And instantly after the wall drops, Morg finds 1 kill. Will Morg find another with the operator? Bill Goat's going to throw in Owl, sees Harbor, chases Harbor a little bit.
Only 2 left from Highland to retake this. Tonka gives a peek out, and Cluey just does a couple of shots. Slim gets a nice flank onto Cascola. That's 1 down and 4 to go. Slowly moving through elbow. No way there's enough time that we can actually defuse this. I mean, he gets 2. I'd walk away at this point and be happy with 2, but Morg will put an end to that. Gets his triple and walks away.
We know more than we did before.
Half buys for 3 members. Actually, technically 4. Twizzy's choosing to go with the Marshal. Are we going to see a Marshal op duel between Twizzy and Morg?
Ooh, that's a tough person that you gotta win your face off with. Who has the benefit of he can get body shots as well. Dart taken out, although it still pings off the chamber. Twizzy does take out Foxy. So the Marshal is going to use Hunter's Fury by Tonka. It's, I think you got to ping on to 1.
One enemy
Gets
remaining.
Harbor, Twizzy goes down to Cascola. I think, oh, I thought Bill Goat might have been able to get away, also gets eliminated. Anakoji is going to use Tour de Force this round. What you giggling at?
I just noticed the name of that restaurant is Bodie.
Oh.
And I'm thinking of SpongeBob now. Hi, Bodie.
Slim.
All right, I got to get back on track here.
Slim with a Guardian, Big Tonka with a Guardian as well, and half shields.
Welcome to my world.
Immediately, the Viper's Pit is going to be used. What? Tonka doesn't even need to see. He just takes the Viper out and immediately stops the ult.
Spike down B.
Okay, not wanting to be left out of sniping. Lord also gets a pick. Now up to 5-3. Could be the possible first round.
Exactly where you are.
Foxy, I think that Neural Theft is just what they need. Is with gets him. That was brutal combo.
That was rough for Anakoji.
Spike planted.
Now the spike is down. They've got Baldman out on point. I mean, what more do you need? He just does his work.
One enemy remaining.
Okay, it's up to the Baldman again. Waits behind the corner. He gets the split second. And with nice play between him. Nice play between him and his teammate. Gets the information he needs from Sova and the pick.
It is up to the bald man once again. All right. 0-9, not the worst scoreline we've had before, but definitely not an easy deficit to surmount. If you are currently rooting for Highland, they are going to commit and force as much as possible. Only one person able to complete a loadout.
Right into the outro. Oh my goodness, Morg wasn't expecting that.
Slim, you have my respect.
Problem is, can Slim get away? Because he's getting peppered with shots.
I think Slim made it out.
Nice job.
Oh,
nope,
yeah,
he
Slim
didn't.
got pinched out at
No.
double doors. They had someone posted up. Foxy and Cluey both picking up one. Null Command was also used.
One enemy remaining.
That made things even more difficult. There's Foxy picking up Anakoji. Twizzy's gone. Tonka's gone.
I had high hopes for that round. That was such a nice start. And I do like that, you know, when you're behind, you know, sometimes you just bring something out to just throw the other team off completely. We see a lot of teams, maybe if it's a, you know, it's a full save with all classics.
Just run it.
It works out a good number of times.
Here. Here.
To round 11. It's get taken. One of them gets taken out by Dismissive. Lord also gets one, but things are evened up pretty quickly, and B point is pretty wide open. And again, the Bold Man is just—he's showing up everywhere.
Planted.
But the bald man also got a little bit too close of a shave by Tonka.
They could see the shiny reflection. Gave him the win.
Twizzy coming from spawn. 2v2 spike is planted.
Oh, gets hit by the bolt. Alert Cumberland on this attempted flank.
Oh, don't fall for it. Don't hit the Viper's Pit again. Don't hit the
Enemy remaining.
Tonka gets eliminated. So does
That is
Twizzy.
such an insane crosshair placement by Bill Goat. One
Last
taps
round
both
is
of
the
them
switch.
for a triple overall. One last chance for Highland. They've purchased as much as they can, but it's still not full rifles with full shields.
No. Tragically, we've got one Phantom user and one Vandal with full shields. That is it. Everyone else with half shields. Some, I think, even bought a Guardian. Slim, Cascola, both eliminated. So here's a trade. Koji eliminated. It's dismissive, also gone. Morg did proc Blade Storm as well. It's 2 left standing. Both inside mid, trying to retake on B site. They are caught out by Foxy as well as Big Blanca.
Oh, that was... Oh, why'd you have to go away, production? We had the perfect viewers looking right dead center at the dragon, and you cut away. They know what they're doing.
Oh, they totally do. I think they're just trying to get a ruse out of you.
You're successful in that regard. Congratulations. Pat yourself on your back. Give yourself a cookie.
I want a cookie.
Yeah, this probably wasn't the thing to mention at this time of day. Now I'm hungry. All right,
Oh,
well...
wait, we might get to see it? Nope.
See,
they're
right ruthless today. They are absolutely...
Why must you take away my joy, production?
All right, your standard 12-0 opening by Cumberland. Just one more round, and they're all going ghost.
I'm here for it. Foxy, you're not going to see anybody yet.
Wow, my eyes are
One
down.
more time? Oh, nope, you're out of battery.
They found my wire. Cage.
Just waiting. Nice
Oh.
play on the Cypher Cage. Immediately goes through. Oh, but
Yikes.
still takes Foxy out.
I'm going to code you with a 2-piece. I think that might have been a Glad even. Tonka goes for the plant. Kui goes down. Fizzy's eliminated.
standing.
It is... Oh, tragedy has struck.
Cascola is there. It is done and dusted. 13-0 to end this match. Cumberland Phoenix, you're going on to the playoffs. Congrats to you. All right, that's going to do it for our last chance qualifier matches for Valorant. But of course, we still have them coming up for Overwatch, Rocket League, and all the other games, Rainbow Six, Counter-Strike. There's a lot to be decided in terms of the NACE Star League Finals, so you're going to want to stay tuned all this week. And yeah, it doesn't get much more clear-cut than that.
Foxy popped off quite a bit. 18 eliminations? Wow. First Bloods, 5 for Foxy? Dang.
Well, you know that we always like to give interviews afterwards. I'm sure we have someone from Cumberland we would like to talk to, so you not want to go away. If not, we'll still wrap up for you after a quick break, but we will take a short break, then be back with some post-game content, so stick around. We'll close out with the conclusion of today's broadcast after this. Remember, and we're getting ready to jump into it. Cumberland versus Highland Community College. We'll see who pulls off the victory. I'd say Highland. Old man out on point. I mean, what more do you need? He just does his work.
One enemy remaining.
Here's a trade. Koji eliminated. It's dismissive, also gone. Morg did proc Blade Storm as well. It's 2 left standing. Both inside mid, trying to retake on B site. They are caught out.
West Kentucky being the ones to slug it out here in the LCQ. Good.
Dang, that was a bloodbath over in A main.
Spike down A.
They all fall. It's just quick and to the point. No fooling around about that. They knew they had the weapon advantage and they just pushed it. And still want to push on to B. They bring out the orbital strike to clear out the point. But look at Highlands. Look at their brim. Look at both brims. A triple for one, a double for another. It's down to one apiece. And the quick judge.
sliver of health left. Big Tonka eliminated, Ayana Koji eliminated.
Player standing.
Twizzy's down. Just, oh, I thought that was a knife. No.
Breathe in and know that vaping nicotine can actually increase feelings of stress.
Yet some vape companies get rich telling you it's a stress reliever.
So let's call it what it is. It's a breath of stress air.
Welcome back to the NACE Star League studio. We just saw Cumberland get a very clean sweep against Highland Community College. They'll be moving on to the playoffs out of the LCQs. I'm still your host, Jacob Jump Palmer, joined by Artemis Rain. We have our post-game contact and our wrap-up, which includes an interview with Morg from Cumberland. Morg, who is right over our shoulders right here on the big screen. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely, pleasure to be here.
Well, I gotta ask, the main thing that stood out to me, which was kind of the three-team pileup that happened in your division, a three-way tie for first with West Virginia and Western Kentucky. How are you looking at those two teams going into playoffs? Because we know we're going to see from West Virginia again. So who amongst them are you most concerned about facing, and anyone else in the playoffs you might be looking out for as tough opponents?
I definitely would consider West Virginia as our closest equals. I was actually on a team with one of their members, Dinks, a couple years ago, so I know just how good they can be. I don't know much about Western Kentucky. I'm sure that my coach will give me the whole rundown soon, though. But we practice against West Virginia a lot, and it's always been generally close. So I'm excited for that matchup.
Okay, so a little bit of a shift on topic here, and back to focusing on what we just witnessed. In game one, you absolutely popped off on Chamber, and then you swapped over to the Jet, and were just a force to reckon with. Between those two agents, is there one you prefer to play more, and were you just kind of filling in a role that your team needed on each map?
We've been shifting the roles around base per map lately. I think my op is really strong. And so they like to put me on agents where I can op. Generally, I actually main controller, Omen. But I love playing Jet so much. She's just so fun.
I have to ask, to get you out on a final note, I have to ask about the origin of your tag Morg, M-O-R-G. Where'd that come from?
Wow, so this is an interesting one. I've been playing World of Warcraft with my dad since I was about 5 years old. And there was one expansion where my dad tried to get my mom into it. And she made a Night Elf rogue called Borgazi. But a couple months into it, she quit because there were too many buttons. But there was this fully max level rogue. And, you know, naturally I wanted to play it because rogues are so cool. And then I played it for a couple expansions after that and kind of just stuck with it, you know? Then Morg for short.
I always think the best gamer tags are the ones that you don't originally plan out, but you just sort of grow into them. That's a great story. Thanks for sharing it with us. I got to say, full disclosure, Artie here thought that it was just very fitting for you because you had such a good KDA, you were sending everyone to the Morg. So thank you so much for giving us a great performance on the op. We look forward to seeing more of your team later on in the playoffs.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
All right, well, that will wrap it up for today. Always good to end on a nice interview. And that will be it for Valorant. But we have Overwatch tomorrow, and then following that will be Rocket League, and then all the other games that LCQs are involved in. And then once that's all done, be sure to tune in next week because we'll have our bracket reveal stream where we'll tell you who's going up against who in the grand finals. Not going to want to miss that, but for now, we will leave you and give a thanks to all of our sponsors, including Truth, Extra Life, Duncan, Odyssey Mushroom Elixir, and Monster. And of course, Mavix, who brings you the top 5 plays of the game. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow with Overwatch. Have a good one tonight. Into the snake bite.
Toss find the Elin, but sub 50 health. Orbital Strike has been committed. Finds Iona Koji. Actually, it's Morg to find Iona Koji. Foxy and Cascola will find one apiece. Twizzy finds one. Morg gets the last kill. No one left alive.
Still want to push on to B. They'll bring out the Orbital Strike to clear out the point. But look at Highlands. Look at their brim. Look at both brims. A triple for one, a double for another. It's down to one apiece. And the quick judge. Dart taken out, although it still pings off the chamber. Twizzy does take out Foxy. So the Marshal is going to use Hunter's Fury by Tonka. It's, I think we got a ping on to one.
One enemy remaining.
Harbor, Twizzy goes down. There's a trade. Iona Koji eliminated. Dismissive also gone. Morg did proc Blade Storm as well. It's 2 left standing. Both inside mid, trying to retake on B site. They are caught out.